Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Renu Fajrini, and now I will to present my proposal. The title is Educational Values as Reflected in Short Stories in English Textbook for 10th grade of Senior High School. Chapter 1, that is Introduction. A. Background of the study. Literature doesn't have to be a compulsory subject that is a must to be implemented every week, but can also be inserted in several parts of the lesson. So that is a literature doesn't have to be a compulsory subject. So we can also be inserted in several part of the lesson, like in English lesson, in chapter 10 on and another like that. The second is we can use the textbook to teach literature lesson. So to teach literature lesson, we can use the textbook, not only the novel or the poetry, etc. But in the textbook we can find the short story. That the short story include the to the literature book. The third is we can use the short story to teach English, especially in reading skill. So to teach reading skill, we can use the literature, that is use the short story to teach the student, because the student more interesting to read the short story than the textbook. B. Identification of the problem. Based on the background of the study above, there are some problems can be identified. They are: the first, the intrinsic elements of the short story. The second, the educational value of the short story. The third, the moral values of the short story. And the last is the alternative activities to using short story in the student textbook to teach reading. Limitation of the problem. There are so many can be identified in analyzing the title, but the limits of the problem is the intrinsic elements of the short story. The second, the educational values of the short story. And the last is the alternative activities to using short story in the student textbook to teach reading. The formulation of the problem. This study formulated into the following question. The first, what are the intrinsic elements of the short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school? The second, what are the educational values of the short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school? And the last is, what are the alternative activity to using short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school to teach reading? E. Objective of the research. The objective of the study are to describe the intrinsic elements of the short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school. Second, to describe the educational value of the short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school. And the last, to explain the alternative activity to use short story in English textbook for 10th grade of senior high school to teach reading. F. Significance of the research. This study has their major significance for the first, teacher, the second, student, and the last, researcher. G. Presentation of the study. This proposal consists of 3 chapters. That is, first, chapter 1, Introduction, chapter 2, Theoretical Framework, chapter 3, the method of the research. Chapter 2. Theoretical framework. A. Biography of the author. B. Intrinsic elements. C. Educational values. D. Objective approach. E. Reading. F. Teaching reading. G. Short story to teach reading. And H. Review on the relevant studies. Related research was also carried out by Sinta Lestiana, 2016, with the title Analysis of the Short Story Character Value in the Fifth Grade Indonesian Language and Literature Development Book, SDN Tegal Sari 01 Semarang. The last chapter, that is a research method. A. Type of the research. The study is categorized in the descriptive qualitative research. B. Subject and object the research. The first, the subject of the research. The research tries to analyze three folklore, that is Isam Bosi, the legend of the Malin Kundang, and Strong Wind. The second, the object of the research. In this research, the researcher focus on the analysis of intrinsic elements and educational value of the three short story in the textbook and how to use it in the English lesson plan. C. Data collecting method. In this research, the researcher used three different techniques in collecting the data. They are critical reading, documentation, and categorizing data. D. Data analyzing method. In exploring the stories, the writer conduct an in-depth analysis. The researcher finds educational values in the short stories. The writer also conducts a descriptive qualitative method to describe and analyze the evidence and make it clear. Then, the researcher applied the objective approach to answer the formulated problems. I think that is all from me. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.